Hello, my name is Rebecca Setch. Welcome to my Career Prep Survival Guide. Today, I'll be sharing some of the things I've learned about my chosen career path, as well as what I've learned about my own strengths and weaknesses. The first article was very informative. The details I found most helpful were the distinctions made between a proofreader and an editor. I was a bit confused on that topic initially, but I now understand that proofreaders simply go line by line looking for typos and basic grammatical errors, whereas editors play a much more involved role in the overall development of the story. When looking into my prospective career paths, I was able to gain valuable insight into the knowledge, skills, and abilities necessary to go whichever direction I choose. Here are some of those career paths and what I've learned. Poets, lyricists, and creative writers. Knowledge. You have to be knowledgeable in arts and humanities, especially the English language, multimedia communications, and have at least a basic level of understanding of computers, technology, and business. Skills. You have to be able to read and comprehend work-related information, write for coworkers or clients, and face and solve problems as they occur. Abilities. You need to be able to communicate clearly, both verbally and through writing, and be able to come up with new, creative ideas. Writers and authors. Knowledge. For writers and authors, it's not only beneficial, but in most cases crucial that they have a decent to proficient understanding of sales and marketing, customer service, multimedia communication, and technology. Skills. Not only will you have to be able to read and write, it's also important to be able to notice problems, come up with solutions, and present them to others in a convincing manner. Abilities. To be a writer or author of any kind, it's essential that you not only read and write comprehensively, but also that you communicate clearly, come up with new and interesting ideas, and turn those into original work. Editors. Knowledge. Since editors work with clients, and often teams as well, to strengthen the entirety of a project, they need to be well-rounded, with a strong understanding of the English language, multimedia communications, management and administrative services, and teaching or course design. Skills. They'll need to be capable of reading and writing work-related material and noticing and solving problems efficiently. Abilities. You have to be able to read writer and author's works comprehensively, communicate clearly and honestly, come up with lots of ideas, and make significant connections within the work to increase its efficacy. The first new resource I found was a blog titled How to Become a Freelance Writer with No Experience by Caroline Grape. The advice that stood out to me most was her suggestion to use writing prompts to write work for imaginary clients to use as samples until you have more experience to share. I've created profiles on a couple of freelance websites, but with very little professional experience to post, it's difficult to get those essential first jobs you need to build your portfolio. So now I'll be creating work for them to view so they can see my work style and gain confidence in it and hopefully decide to work with me. The second new resource I found was an article titled How to Become a Book Editor in 2024, A Complete Guide by David Chesson. There were two things that stuck out the most from this article. Both feel like common sense, but are things that I hadn't thought about very deeply and I'm glad it helped me become more aware of. Firstly, the quote, "A good editor is committed to making an author's book better, not twisting the voice into the editor's own words. This requires a unique mixture of self-control and empathy." I'm quite empathetic overall, but when it comes to editing, I feel like I might become overly confident and have to be wary of the line between stating my thoughts and opinions confidently and convincingly, and coming off as pushy when suggesting they alter what is, ultimately, their story, which is very personal to them. I attend a writing group that is great for practicing this, and will ask them their thoughts on my critique style to see where I can improve. Secondly, he pointed out that emails and social media should be immaculate. I've approached social media somewhat casually so far, but all professional emails and social media accounts are a representation of you, so if it isn't as clear and presentable as your work is, then people won't be as likely to contract with you. I'll definitely work on clearing up the account I have and pay close attention to how the others I plan to create appear. From the essential skills listed in the article in Step 4, I feel like my strong suits are definitely professional and interpersonal skills. For example, I like to say that I'm great at things such as teamwork, emotional intelligence, communication, leadership skills, problem solving, and integrity. I've gained confidence in these abilities over the course of my adult life through the many jobs I've had in which I've had to demonstrate them. In most of them, I've been either the main or sole contact with customers, clients, and patients. Even as lower management in retail, I began developing strength in my abilities to work with those above and beneath my position. Working as a medtech meant I was in charge of most emergencies, the point of contact for doctors, patients, and family members, and responsible for providing timely and appropriate care to dozens of patients, while also assisting a team of caretakers and the other medtech on duty. As a nanny, I not only have to use leadership, problem-solving, communication, and several other essential skills with the parents, but I also have to use those skills to negotiate with young children. The professional and interpersonal skills mentioned that I'd most like to improve are my organizational skills and time management. These are both very important, and I have a basic handle on them in my current life, but with full-time work, a regularly shifting schedule and workload in school, new hardware and software to gain confidence in, personal projects I try to work on regularly so I can have more work published, and now attempting to break into the world of freelance writing and editing, I need to work hard on preparing for each day, week, and month, and being flexible while keeping track of changes and how they'll affect other areas of my personal and professional life. When it comes to digital portfolios, not only do I feel it would be beneficial, I've actually already begun to create one. I'm including the article and short story I've already had published, and hope to have more published soon that I'll be able to add. I'll also be creating samples for clients so that I can have more evidence of my style for them to look at. I'll also see if some of my writers group would be comfortable with me sharing a small piece of their work with the editing suggestions I gave them, so that people can see how I work. Lastly, as I begin getting work on freelancing websites, I'll add samples of that as well to continue building my portfolio. Overall, I am feeling much more prepared to take the necessary steps to get started freelance writing and editing. I hope you found this information helpful as well. Thank you for watching!